Hello, beautiful. Today, I want to talk to you about some relationship dynamics that you shouldn't be in, that are very toxic, but I want for you to look beyond what is being projected on you and see things for what they are. And I'm talking and referring to specifically narcissistic relationships when, in our case, I'm working with women, so I'm addressing to women, by the way, that also applies to men. And the gender roles could easily be transferred, and they could easily apply to a woman who is being narcissistic to a man. However, in our line of what it is that we are talking and the conversation and the people that are actually listening to our content and recognizing themselves in our what it is that we are doing in our brand, in our movement is what I call it. I'm referring to women, right? Women or those who identify as women. And in the relationship dynamic, a man who is a narcissist will project his insecurities onto you, and his fears that if, by God forbid, by any means you have gotten awakened and you decided, you know what, I'm going to follow what I say, I'm going to follow what I believe in, I'm going to follow my truth, I'm going to stand up for myself, and I'm going to leave you. And they're afraid of a woman standing in her power because they are terrified that they won't have an opportunity or anyone to exercise that power, manipulation, and control over if you decide to stand up and say, no more. Will I take that? Will I accept that kind of treatment? You are not the person for me. Majority of women that I have come across who are in somewhat of a similar dynamic are first of all being faced or living with a man who is telling them that they're not pretty enough, not good enough, not, they don't have the guts, they don't have the skills, they're too fat, they're too skinny, whatever, right? And that's their tactic to minimize a woman, for them to feel power over that woman, who, if a woman decides that she believes in what this man has told her, she will accept that as truth, and she will start thinking that she's not enough, she's not good enough for him, she's not good enough for the society, she's not good enough for anyone. So that's the way the woman would get brainwashed, if she's in that toxic relationship dynamic. Right? When a woman decides, no, I will not, that is what you're saying is not true, the relationship dynamic will not work, and the relationship will fall apart, because in order for that to work, there has to be that dynamic, because narcissists, they're looking for their praise, and it would only work with women who are believing them, who don't have their own sense of self-value, their own self-worth, right? And they are looking for that validation on the outside. And the dynamic will work really well because he's toxic. He's telling you all the things in order to control you and manipulate you. Where on your end, you learned, you got to be a good girl. You probably did not have a good childhood where you learned that you're being loved, where you showed a role model of a good family dynamic and a good relationship, and you're probably coming from that broken family already, and attracting a person to where you are seeking your validation. However, it's a twisted relationship. He's actually toxic, and he's projecting all of your fears that it is your life lesson to overcome, right? And when you are in that relationship dynamic with a toxic person, their biggest fear is that they will lose control over you. They are thriving on that power dynamic. They're thriving on belittling you. They're thriving on telling you what's wrong with you. They're thriving because that gives them and feeds them the power that they're craving, that they're seeking, that they probably have not gotten from their own broken, twisted family dynamic back in childhood too. So you have two people coming from broken family dynamics, and both of you are just like really playing this role of him humiliating you, and maybe it's not as strong of a, maybe the word is super strong for the dynamic. Maybe it's not even that, but it could be humiliation, degradation. This could be abuse. Verbal abuse for the most cases, and this could even turn into physical abuse too. So those are really scary dynamics to be in, because you come into the relationship thinking he's the most amazing man for you and he loves you, and all of a sudden in the middle you either got married or you start living together, and dynamic shifts, and like the person that you fell in love with disappears, and now there's a completely different person that is not appreciating you, that is telling you what's wrong, that is always the first one to point out that you did this wrong and this and that and all of that, right? And so if you stick around for a long time and if you believe in what he's telling you, you start like, this is who you are. That becomes part of your identity, and you start thinking I'm not good enough, or everything that I do turns to shit. Like everything that I touch is like, I'm gonna break, I am broken, I am not good enough, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm not pretty enough. Like you start developing and growing that belief system that is not even true, that was seeded in you first from your unhealed family dynamic that was broken in the first place. And now you have attracted a man through your energy, through your what you are emitting to the world. You have attracted the man who is perfect match for what you think you are, because the two parts of a magnet, they attract, right? So if you think that you are broken and not good enough, you are blessed to find anyone who will find value in you, will see you something good in you, even though you yourself don't believe that there is value or anything within you, right? Well, all of that is completely wrong, and wrong, right? So all of those perceptions are self-made, self-created, self-imposed, and they have started from little things in the beginning, from your childhood, and snowballed into this whole thing because you did not catch them in time. You did not know how to identify that this was wrong. You did not know exactly what is wrong and what is not wrong. You just at some point started believing, and it has become part of your subconscious, most likely from your childhood. And so when you have a male figure who is now, so many years later, driving your sense of self-depreciation and adding to the fact that you are not good enough, the relationship will not serve you in any way to feed your soul. The relationship will beat you up, and your lesson in this relationship is to walk away, to notice and walk away from that relationship, to reclaim yourself, to say, no, I am not that. No, I have my own sense of self-worth. No, I'm better than that. Everything you're telling me is a lie, that you're just trying to control me. You're just trying to manipulate me. Now, if you stand up to men who is really toxic and aggressive, like this could be a dangerous situation, and they might, this could turn into something so twisted that you really don't want to be involved with. So the best way is to just walk away. And if you need to walk away in secret so he never knows where you are and what happened to you, that is in disappear altogether, this could be the way for many women. But the problem is that only very few women will actually not only recognize that the dynamic is so twisted and that the relationship is toxic. Most women will leave unhappily throughout their life and will never recognize that everything is wrong in the life that they're living. They are not even aware that there is something wrong with their life. They think that this is how life should be, that other people are lucky and they're just misfortunate, and they're gonna live with that philosophy and with that mentality throughout their entire life. And they may not even ever be able to understand that there is so much better ways for her to live life. And then some women who will understand, they won't take it or believe in it, and other people will show her and point out to her, hey, he is this and that, and like, you shouldn't be with this man. She wouldn't either believe that this is true, or she would believe that this is true, but on an inside of her, she will not accept that. And then the third way that women would react to something like that is to other friends or family or other people who are in much better place, pointing out to her that her relationship dynamic is twisted, is toxic. They might finally start seeing it for that. However, they will not give themselves permission to walk away from that relationship because they've been brainwashed so hard and so bad that they're not good enough. They don't deserve a better life. They don't deserve a better man. They don't deserve being treated nicely. They don't deserve to have a better man. They almost like crave. They're so used to that's their part of life. That's their energy field that they're carrying with. There's no other even perception of another reality for them. And they don't believe that they deserve that. They also don't believe that there will be another man who will love them and treat them better, because they've never experienced what a healthy relationship dynamic looks like. So they would stay in that toxic relationship, and this could either just last until something bad happens, if it's like a really abusive relationship, or this could potentially be eventually there will be that container that fills up so much that there is no room to go but explode, and this could also turn ugly and bad. In some rare cases, unfortunately, women will end up really saying, I've had enough. I see now who you are. You're not a good person. I'm ready to walk away from her. That only happens when women acquire the different set of skills, that they start seeing things for what they are, that they hang out with the right people, with the right women who will guide them, they will receive mentorship of some sorts from another woman who stepped into her own power. They need to be in the circle of women who stepped into their own power in order to recognize that they too can step in their own power, and they just have not had a good role modeling in life. And with that, I want to finish this conversation for right now, because if you recognize yourself having a toxic relationship, the first step is to start improving your self-confidence, self-esteem, and start really believing in your self-worth and in the knowledge that you deserve better, you can do better, better life is available for you. And I'm here to tell you and give you permission. There is better life for you. I'm here to tell you that.